Works good. Why does it do that to me?
Thank you, mystery voice. Recording is in progress, so be careful what you say. Welcome to our Zenner Mobile Yoga Baby Boomer Flow. And like I said, as we were starting getting warmed up, we're going to work a little bit today to find the top edge of the effort and the challenge that we want to put in a very, very classic yoga flow through science and things. So we may start and stop and experiment with that. Please have a chair handy. We may or may not get to it today, but just in case we do. I always like to have it handy. In this group, though, we tend to treat the chair not like a chair, it's just a really tall block. And of course, I always recommend a blanket, a block, and a strap. Whether we touch them or not, I'd rather have them handy and not need them as to need them and not be able to reach them. All right, let's just stand up for me just a minute. It has been a day, a week, a month, a year. Plant your feet a generous shoulder width apart. Pick up your toes, spread them out, take a look at them, it matters, and then set them back down. Lift your head back up, roll your shoulders up, back, and down. Do that about 3 times. Exaggerate that motion, really make it big, organic, and juicy. And then come back to a neutral stance. Strong but soft knees. So get a little shock absorber action going in the knees and hips. And then here's what I want you to do. Eyes open or closed, doesn't matter, it's on you. I want you to shake off the day. Shake off the week, the month, the year. Just shake it off. Any worries, struggles, let them go, shake them off. Like you were doing, remember dust mops? Like you were shaking out a dust mop. All right, enough of that. That's it. I just wanted to get rid of some energy, some tension there. Let's go ahead today. Since we're already standing, we'll go ahead and start in a standing posture rather than coming to the floor. So the feet are now about hip width distance apart. You can draw them in just a little bit. But it really doesn't matter, wherever feels stable for you. Drop your hands down on your sides. Softly stack your spine. Lift your toes so that your weight comes gently into your heels just a bit. And then heels under hips. Stack the spine so the shoulders are over hips. Draw the chin down a little bit to find length in the back of the neck, and then invite the shoulders back, or the ears back over the shoulders. Hands are still soft at this point. We're just aligning, stacking the spine, and opening the energy channels. And then leaving your hands soft down by your side, begin to find a little sway from side to side. And let that sway be as organic or juicy as you like. Maybe the sway turns into a twist. Let the hands weigh 1,000 pounds belong to somebody else. Let the centrifugal force of the twist pick the hands up, send them out, and let them flop back behind you. Now take that twist from ankles up, let your head neck get out. Feet stay on the floor, but I'm definitely feeling some movement as my ankles twist and my balance, my weight shifts from side to side. So find that feeling. Just really getting connected with the entire body. Then slowly allow that twist to soften and settle back at center. Big sweeping inhale, hands come up and over, fingertips touch. Draw the hands down in front of your face. And then follow the hands down. Let your eyes, your chin, your shoulders, we're rolling down the body. Take your time, one vertebra at a time. Let the hands release to the legs and slide down in the direction of the floor. Deep bend in the knees. Let the tummy rest on the thighs. If fingertips don't come to the floor, you can always find your chair, the block, or let your hands rest somewhere on your legs. But deep bend in the knees. Drop the hips as low as feels good at this point in the practice. And let the tummy just rest on the knees. Hands, arms, head, and neck. Hang loose. And we're going to do a sunflower sweep from here. So leaving the head, neck, and arms loose, begin to gently straighten the knees, lifting the torso off the thighs, and then take both hands up to the right as you circle the entire body up toward the ceiling, and then drop both hands down on the other side. Inhale as you take the circle up, really rolling through the hips. Exhale as you take the circle down. So the rib cage comes to center, then the chest, then the other rib cage. And then turn it around, go the other direction. Really letting the entire body begin to get connected and loosened all at the same time. Finish out one more of those sunflower sweeps. And then come back to center, extended mountain hands overhead. And then exhale, drop the hands to heart center. Let's get in a standing cat-cow here. Just drop hands to the hip crease. I like to put my thumbs toward the back, hands, fingers toward the front. With a standing cat-cow, most of this action will happen north of the hips, but if it feels good to go deeper, take it. So take a nice big inhale. And on the exhale, curve the spine, let the elbows round forward like they were going to touch, spread out across the shoulder blades. Let your head and neck drop. Inhale, curve the other direction. Elbows come back as if they were going to touch. Belly comes forward, heart lifts. Head and neck can stay under control or drop behind you, your choice. Inhale, come forward, and exhale, curl into this standing cat. Inhale, lift high. Exhale, curve back into our standing cat. Inhale, come forward, last time for our standing cat. Inhale, come forward for our standing cat. And then come back to center. Let both hands drop down beside you again. Inhale, sweep the hands up and over for an extended mountain. Take the time to plug in the shoulders. So shoulders are a little wider, biceps are not touching here. They're out to the side. Inhale, lift the fingertips high, fingertips touch. Left hand takes hold of right thigh, lengthen the side body. Keep the hips over the heels with this first side bend. As the bend starts about the waistline, as we curl to one side of the room. Inhale, come to center, switch the grip, find the length, draw the shoulder blade out of the socket, and then from the waistline side, bend the other direction. Inhale back to center, and exhale a soft forward fold, deep into the knees on this first one. Inhale and slowly straighten the knees, lifting the backside. Exhale, drop it down a little deeper. Inhale, slide that up for a standing halfway lift. Back is flat, elbows back by hips, shoulder blades drawn together. And exhale, fold forward. Let's get in another side here. Inhale, extended mountain, hands come up and over. Left hand takes hold of right, find the length. This time, let everything from heels to hands curve as we reach to the left. Big banana posture. Inhale back to center, switch the grip. Exhale, big curve the other direction. Inhale back to center, and exhale, forward fold. Let's go now into a classic sun A. Inhale, halfway lift, back is flat. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, extended mountain, hands up and over. And exhale, fold right back down, hinging from the hips. Inhale, halfway lift. We'll do one classic sun A. Exhale, fold forward. Plant the hands, step the feet back, either into a high plank or a half plank. Now, if you're in high plank, feet are about hip width distance apart, hands are firmly pressing into the mat, lifting the heart, lifting the shoulders, press back to the heels. Your hips are neither the highest nor the lowest part of your body. The work is in your arms and your feet pressing you up and away. Tighten up an imaginary seatbelt around your belly button. The work is in your core. So this is our standard plank. Go ahead and drop the knees down, untuck the toes, send them behind you. Drop forward just a little bit to find a half plank. It's a different activation, but you still got that same seatbelt around your middle. Now, if you're ready for full planks today, feel free to take them. If you're not, feel free to take this half plank at any time. Your other option, go ahead and push your hips back just a little bit, is to find a longer tabletop position. Any of those three is always an acceptable way to customize your practice. Let's try one. Hinge forward in either in a half plank or full plank. Draw the elbows in. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, lower the body to the mat like it was on a board. Flip the tops of the toes so the toes are pressed down. Little to no weight in the hands as you press through the pelvis. Inhale, baby cobra. Head, heart, perhaps the hands lift away from the mat. And we hold for just a breath, big strengthener here. And exhale, hands back down to the mat. Tuck the toes. Inhale, either tabletop, half plank, full plank, or straight back to downward facing dog. Your choice. But we'll get in this first down dog and walk it out. Surf it out. I had in mind for us to do 4 of them today. So here's the first one. Surf it out. If at any time down dog doesn't work for you, skip it. Come back to tabletop. Find your way to a stationary downward facing dog. Hips in the air. Heels pressed toward the earth. Pressing down through the tops or the base of the fingers and the base of the thumbs. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, feet to hands. 1 step or 1,000. Coming into forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. And exhale, fold. Inhale, extend the mountain. And exhale, fold right back in. Plant the hands, step back. Your choice. High plank, tabletop, or half plank. We're only going to do 1 more here. We'll get in our last one of these. Lower the body to the mat on the exhale. Inhale is baby cobra. Head, heart, hands lift away from the mat. Exhale, hands to the mat. Here comes our second downward facing dog. Tuck the toes. Half plank, full plank, or tabletop. En route to downward facing dog. All right, that's the last one of those for a few minutes. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, feet to hands. Front of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, extended mountain all the way up. And exhale, fold all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, forward. Pause here. Come on, let's stop here for a teaching point. Let's talk just really quickly about a forward fold. It's a very simple, complex motion that a lot of yogis don't ever seem to quite understand. So I want to get the feel of forward fold in your body. You see a lot of yogis, if you'll bear with me for just a minute, their forward fold really, see, can I make it happen? If I curl and curve my shoulders and round my body toward the floor, that is not a forward fold. A forward fold comes from here. Shoulders are the last things to come down toward the floor. So it comes from here. Crown of the head is going way out. It hinges at the hips. We bend the knees as much as we need to keep all the length we can in the spine. So I want to give you the end result of what we're looking for. So if you will, please, big sweeping inhale up and over. Bring your hands to heart center. Begin to fold at the hips. Bend your knees very, very deeply. Rest your tummy on your thigh. Let your hands come to the floor. To the floor, to the bottoms of your legs. Now leaving your tummy velcro to your thighs. Begin to straighten the backs of your legs and let your body hinge at the hips. Notice how your shoulders and your nose begin to go closer to your thighs. Probably not going to touch today, may not ever, but that hinging, that connection of tummy and thighs is what we're looking for in a forward fold. Hamstrings may be too tight for you to straighten the knees completely. But if you keep the tummy on the thighs, you have hinged at the hips. That's what we're trying to do with a forward fold. All right, back to work. Inhale, halfway lift, find the flat back. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale all the way up, extended mountain. Exhale, fold for the floor. Plant the hands, step your left foot way back, and drop the knee. Let's come into a low lunge. So right foot is forward, knee is over or behind the ankle, left knee is back. So here again, I'm going to pause for just a moment. You may start to play, you two are experienced yogis at this point. You may begin to play with, rather than the back leg be straight up and down, notice how my knee is further back behind my hip. Begin to play with that a little bit, taking that leg a little further back when you have the option. We start to open up some different muscle groups. But let's start in this low lunge. Now, hands need to come inside the front leg to have room for all of the parts. Do that. Or put a block on either side of your foot. But begin to surf this out. And by that, I mean drop it as far forward as is comfortable, and then rock it as far back as is comfortable. And when I say comfortable, your hips may not agree with you for the first couple of surfings, but this is a gentle way to begin to warm and waken the hips and the hamstrings. Then come back to this nice stationary low lunge. Tuck the toes on the back foot, inhale, lift the back knee. Coming into a crescent lunge posture here. You're on train tracks, not a tightrope. Inhale, get light in the fingers, tummy is resting on the thigh. Inhale, lighten the torso, lift it up. Just bring hands to hips for the moment for this high crescent lunge, Anjaneyasana. Now, what tends to happen here is the right hip wants to go forward and the left hip wants to go back. A trick to get them more in line is to take the left hand and reach for the wall. And notice how when your shoulder rotates forward, your hips rotate. That will get you a much better stance for Anjaneyasana, high crescent lunge. To finish it off, bring the hands up and overhead. Shoulders eventually come back a little more over hips. At first, they tend to want to stay closer to the knee. Hands can always come to your hips. All right, let's go to warrior two. Flip the back heel. Back foot parallel with the edge of the mat and send the hands long. Go ahead and drop your hands down to your hips. Set up your foundation. Find that length that you like between left foot and right. Left foot parallel to the short edge, right foot parallel to the long edge. Remember, if you need to bring your fingertips to the collarbone to turn the shoulders and the hips, it's always a trick. Eventually, the muscle memory is there, and you'll open up into warrior two. Now, this first round, we normally, on purpose, go pretty slow. We're building fiber, discipline, tapas, and muscle memory. Anytime you need to straighten and re-engage, feel free. Anytime you need to drop the hands, feel free. Take the posture apart. Work one part at a time. Eventually, you'll put the whole posture together. So let's go on to extended side angle. Drop hands to hips. Right hand into the hip crease, thumb to the back. Hit your elbow out in front of you. So extended side angle, the feet and legs don't move, but we begin to tip the body forward. Notice the knee begins to, or elbow begins to come down to the knee. If elbow comes to the knee, that means shoulder is in line with the knee as well. Beautiful. Either send the right arm up or your other self-adjust is begin to send the left elbow back, almost as if you were going to tip over backwards. That's a great feeling for extended side angle. Now, eventually the front hand can unwind and the top hand can go up or over. But it's a big stretch up the side body. Enough of that Bring the leg up as you come. We're going into reverse warrior, but I want to get off that knee for just a moment. So take, left hand can come down your leg or to your hip, or behind you, right hand comes over, then we'll drop back into that lunge. But we had held that one long enough for the moment. Into our reverse warrior. This is a side body stretch, not a back bend. So we're not leaning forward or backwards, we're curling our ribs toward our left heel. Inhale, cartwheel, both hands to the mat, frame the front foot. This time we're going to step forward into forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, fold. Inhale, extend the mountain all the way up. Exhale, fold all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. This time the right foot goes back and drop to the knee. Take your time to set up your lunge. If you feel that lunge was sort of shaky, try getting your feet further apart, right, left, and closer together, front, back. Change your center of gravity just a little bit. But take a moment here to surf this lunge. This hip may feel completely different. Feel free to walk the hands back, walk the hands forward, surf out this lunge and this leg. Then come back to a stationary, anchored lunge. Tuck the toes on the back foot, lift the knee, lighten the fingers, lighten the torso, lift up, Anjaneyasana, high crescent lunge. Drop left hand to the hip, right arm reaches forward. Just square the hips a little bit. Then you can relax your hands for a moment. Check in with your low back. If this feels crunched in the low back, try dropping your back knee. Notice that sends your tailbone toward the floor. Leave your tailbone where it is, straighten your back knee. Sometimes we over curl or curve the low back. So this is our high crescent lunge. Hands can come up if you're ready or stay on your hips. We're not staying low. Spin the back heel to the mat, open up, warrior two. Now if you got your stance a little too wide or a little too short or a little too long, adjust it as needed for your warrior two. Notice in your warrior two, shoulders are over hips. We're not leaning forward and we're not leaning back, though that is a great core exercise for another day. All right, let's get in that extended side angle. You can do the elbow thing we did before, or just visualize it. As we inhale, reaching forward, exhale, we tip the body over. Left shoulder is in line with the knee, right shoulder in line with the knee. Everything is somewhat in line. Now, I like to bring the left hand inside the knee. It reminds me to press the knee gently open as opposed to letting the knee fall forward. I also like to bring the top hand over because it gets a big stretch through the ribs on this side. Inhale, softly lift up, straighten the front knee, and give the leg a break as we head into our reverse warrior. This is actually referred to as reverse triangle. And then we'll drop back down into the knee. Now it's reverse warrior. And find as much stretch up the ribs as feels right for you today. One more breath. Cartwheel the hands to the mat, frame the front foot, lift the back heel, step forward into forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up, extend it out, and exhale, fold right back down. We're going to step back this time and find our high plank. High plank or low plank, your choice. So this is the traditional transition between high plank or low plank. We draw the belly up and in. We lower the belly to the mat. Inhale, baby cobra, or perhaps never hands stay on the mat. Elbows stay by the ribs. Hips stay on the mat, and you lift the shoulders into more of a full cobra. And then exhale, lower to the mat. Tuck the toes. Inhale, lift back up. Downward facing dog. Then we'll do one time the more traditional step through. And that was our last, our downward facing dog. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, right foot lifts. Inhale, bend the knee, draw it in, step through. Right hand comes between the hands, the right foot between the hands, either in one motion or several. But we find ourselves back in that low lunge. This time we're going straight to warrior two. Inhale, spin the back heel, rise up. Find your warrior two. We'll move a little faster, one breath, one movement. Inhale, hinge forward. Find your extended side angle on the exhale. Inhale, reverse warrior, up and over. Exhale, cartwheel the hands to the mat. This time we step back to our high plank or half plank. Exhale, lower to the mat. Inhale, our version of cobra or baby cobra. Exhale, forehead to the mat. Inhale, tuck the toes, last downward facing dog today. And press up and back. Rest for just a breath in this down dog. Then inhale, left foot lifts. Exhale, step through, low lunge. We're not going to stay long. Flip the back foot. Inhale, rise up. Warrior two. Settle your warrior. On the exhale. Inhale, hinge forward. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, reverse warrior. And exhale, cartwheel the hands to the mat. Bring the foot. We're going to take our last step back to either high or low plank. Lower to the mat on the exhale. Inhale to find your version of cobra. Exhale to lower. This time, leave the body on the mat. Then go ahead and press up to tabletop and back into child's pose. Press it into child's pose. Take a breath or two here. And then flip the feet around, flip the hips around, and come up to seated on the mat. Whew. Did you both leave, or are you still speaking to me? I will tell you that I don't know about where you're at, but the temperature in this room went up about 25 degrees after we started getting moving. Okay. Yeah, a little.
We're still alive.
All right. So that's a taste of the classic warrior dance, plank transition, down dog, low lunge step through that we see so often in yoga classes. That is a lot of upping and downing. It takes a lot of core strength and it takes a lot of upper body strength. So what I think I want to do with us for a while is perhaps the very first time we do the warrior dance, we do the down dog version, and then we don't after that. We'll play with that and see what we like. One of the things that I really like, and we will do together, is rather than go back to down dog, I like to come into that low lunge, and then either using a block or a chair, step forward into a one-legged balance, because it builds a lot of strength in hips and hamstrings, and the low back, and the lifted leg. So we're going to use that transition quite a bit. All right, grab a sit floor. I've got another standing balance thing I want us to do, and then I do want us to work on the floor just a little bit today. So we experimented a little bit with crescent lunge, and I'll be interested in feedback on that one. We will work quite a bit with that one if that is in our wheelhouse, because it is a huge hip strength. And another thing I want to mention in terms of a huge benefit, that is so underrated. See if I can prop that door open a little bit, get a little more fresh air in here. I've had you several times, over and over again, drop the tummy down on the thighs. Believe it or not, this is a fantastic lower stress way to build strength in your thighs. It doesn't feel quite as stressful as maybe a warrior or a crescent, But you're still supporting your body weight with the strength in your thighs and in your butt. So that's a good sneak to get in some strength. All right, let's go ahead. We will come down and work. Now we're going to sneak our core into a standing sequence. So let's just start standing in the middle of the mat. Stand in the middle of the mat, step right foot out, step left foot out. Pick the right toes up, spin them out, and find your warrior legs one more time. Really here, I just want you to find the length of your lunge. So find the length of your lunge, and if you let yourself get a little complacent and standing in a warrior two leg is easy, I challenge you. I think the easiest or the best way to do it is to take your back foot out one footprint and then drop back down with your lunge. And see if the lunge just got a little more challenging. Sometimes when things get easy, we coast. And we do want things to be comfortable, yet we want to continue to grow. So just find your warrior two here. I want to show you a self-adjustment triangle. Go ahead and softly straighten both knees. So knees are soft and strong. So earlier today, we did extended side angle. An extended side angle is a curl from one foot all the way to the hand of the rib cage. Triangle is different. Triangle is a hinge. We're going to play with triangle today. So find your warrior lunge, then softly straighten that front knee on an inhale. Take the right hand. We normally start this from either warrior or a 5-point star. So we'll start today from warrior arms. So softly straighten the front leg. Begin to reach forward and then come back to center. Drop your hands to your hips. Right hand comes into that hip crease. Your shoulder now is going to reach forward, take the right hand and actively push your hips behind you towards your left foot, not behind your behind, but towards your left foot. And notice that your shoulder begins to drop towards your knee. But the top ribs are straight. Get your hand out of the way anytime you're ready. And this is triangle. In triangle, we want the top ribs straight and flat, and the bottom ribs long and straight and flat. Eventually, top hand comes to the floor, and bottom hand comes to the floor, and ribs become parallel to the floor. Inhale, come back up. I want to do that again, but I want you to really pay attention here. You can pick a place, maybe on your floor or a piece of furniture, where notice that your navel center does not move. But when you put your hand in your right hip and you push the hips back, notice that your hips move back quite a bit. Play with that little hinge. That's what we're going for in triangle. All right, come back to center. Shake the legs out just a little bit. And we'll go one more time. Right foot is turned toward the short edge of the mat. Either leave your hand in the hip crease or arms can come out if you've got the idea. We inhale, reach forward, and exhale. Tick-tock the arms, 6 and 12. One arm goes up, the other one goes down. Now it's more important to keep the length in the ribs than it is for the fingers to touch the floor. You can always use a chair or a block here. But we're actively reaching the crown of the head toward the wall to find length in both sides of the ribs. Inhale, come back up, 5-pointed star. Turn your toes, all 10 toes, to point to the long edge of the mat. You can use a block or a chair here. Hands can come to hips or stay raised. Exhale, wide-legged forward fold. We're hinging at the hips. Hands can stay on your hips. They can come to the floor or a block. Big inner thigh stretch for most of us. You might even try taking the heels out just a little bit to find a little more stretch in the inner thigh. Now this is why we need to breathe a time or two to let those thighs, let the hips and the hamstrings relax. Engage your core. Pull your belly button up and in. Use your core to lift you up halfway. And then exhale, fold a little deeper. Can you drop your shoulders down between your knees? That's the feeling we're going for. Inhale, lift halfway up. This is our core for today. Exhale, drop it halfway back down. Eventually, the crown of the head may come to the floor. Draw the table center, hand it up. Inhale, 5-pointed star, take up lots of space. Lift the left toes, pivot on the heel. Find your warrior two to the back of your mat. If you want to turn around so you can see better, do that. But we're just switching the other direction. We're going to do a triangle on this side. Inhale, slowly, softly straighten the front knee. That's not locked out. And we hinge forward, reaching our hand beyond our foot. And exhale, tick-tock the shoulders, 6 and 12. Begin to find the length in the side bodies. That's what we're looking for here. Soft front knee. Press through the knife edge of the back foot. Eventually, you may bring the palm of the hand to the floor. But what matters is the length in the ribs in this triangle. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Turn the toes back around. This time, kick the heels in, toes out. Exhale, bring the hands to the hips. Let the knees go toward the toes as we sit down and back in goddess. Now, if you were against a wall, your heels, your hips, and your shoulders would all be within kissing distance of the wall. Real temptation is to lean forward. The real strength is to sit up tall. You press your hands into the top of your thighs. You can bring your hands down to your knees. That helps spread the knees and the chest a little bit. But let's bring elbows to, actually, let's come to heart center for just a moment. Let's get a relaxed core here. So come out of the goddess, straighten out the goddess anytime you need to. But we're going to get a little core here. Inhale, sit up tall, straighten the legs if you need. Exhale, tap the elbows to the knees. Inhale, elbows lift. Exhale, elbows tap. Inhale, elbows lift. Exhale, elbows tap. Inhale, elbows lift. Exhale, left elbow, right knee. Inhale, center. Left elbow, right knee. Other way around. Take it from one side to the other. One side to the other. Last time. One side to the other. One side to the other. Inhale, come back to center in your goddess. Sit down 1 millimeter further on the exhale. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Exhale, drop the hands, walk the feet in together. Shake that. Holy cow, that was a lot like work. All right. Whoa, whoa. I'm sweating like a big dog. I do want to come down to the floor today. So go ahead and take a seat. You both of you have a strap handy, a strap, a leash, something along that line. So I want to work a little slower. Get the chest forward, and then we're going to come down for some leverage asana and a nice little return twist. If I don't run out of time, I'm probably going to run out of time. All right, so find your strap. If you're using an official yoga strap that has a metal buckle, I heard you got one of those. I strongly, if you have a strap with a metal buckle, strongly advise you to feed it through and make a loop. Now, you may or may not ever use that loop in the end of your yoga strap, but there's something about those metal buckles that is magnetically attracted to the center of your forehead. And if those metal buckles are flopping free, one or both of them is going to smack you in the middle of your forehead every time. If you just make a loop, they're under control. Now, I rarely use the loop, but it keeps the buckles from whack. So, because what I have today in the studio is one of the big 10-foot long straps. If yours is shorter, you probably don't need the loop. So what we're going to do here is a version of Janu Sirsasana, which is so much fun to say. We're going to work a little opening chest and shoulders and finding that rotation that I was talking to or alluding to earlier, like with extended side angle. So I want to work on that just a little bit. Start with just again your Sirsasana. So start with whichever heel. Let's say start with left heel. Left heel drawn into your center. So get the left heel into the center of your body. Then send the right leg out long. So draw the heel in first so that that tells your right leg where to go, rather than the straight leg telling your heel where to go. We want to be lined up on that heel. That knee is just dropped open. Flex the toes on the long leg and sit up tall. Here's where the strap comes in. You can bend that knee to draw it in, or just lasso the foot. Strap underneath the ball mount of your foot is generally less uncomfortable than strap underneath the arch of your foot. So either with a loop or with double ends of the straps, sit up tall, find a long spine, wide shoulders, open heart. Start by turning your heart toward the bent knee and get a little rock on the hips to press that knee into the mat and let the opposite hip come up. Then when you come back, your hips will be better balanced. Then we're going to turn the heart toward the long leg. Using the straps, sitting up tall, hinging at the hips, not rounding, hinging at the hips. So don't think you're often very cute nose to knee, which tends to make people round. I like to say forehead to toes. So I'm reaching out and forward as I hinge toward my toes, and I can use my hands on the strap to give just a little more traction to maybe fold my body down a little deeper. Now, hands reach the toes and you don't need the strap, let go of it. But find the length in your spine, hinging toward the toes. So the heart stays lifted, the head stays lifted, until you're folded deep enough that it's appropriate for them to touch the leg. But you want the length first. Now you might release and come about halfway up. Take a nice long breath and inhale, reset the spine, reset the shoulders, and then on the exhale, fold down just a little deeper now that your body understands what you're asking it to do. Then inhale, come back up to center. With the strap in the right hand, the leg that's long, the strap is in that hand. Take it behind you, other hand comes around and finds the end of your strap. So now left hand has a hold of the strap that's attached to the right leg. Bring your right hand softly over to your left knee, and what we're going to do is use the strap to gently turn our shoulders and take a twist that lines our shoulders up with the lengthened leg. Now, a trick I like to use is I'll bring my right hand down to the strap, bend my knee, pull it in, walk my left hand up the strap a little more, and then when I slide my leg long, it becomes a pulley that pulls my right shoulder gently around, or left shoulder. Lengthen the spine, widthen the shoulders, but we find a deeper twist than we can do unassisted. That's what we're playing with. So again, try that traction. Soften the knee, let the heel come in, walk the hand, 2 fingers further down the strap, and then when you straighten the knee, see if it gently pulls the shoulder around, finding a little more length in your twist, or a little more depth in your twist. And then release that, take the strap off your foot, set it aside. Left hand comes behind your hip, right hand comes out in front of you. As you pop up onto the knee, this is called stargazer pose. Left leg is long, we're kneeling on the right. Now hand can come up, or eventually as you trust yourself, you begin to let the hand and arm go a little further behind you, rotating your heart to the sky. Then drop your hips back down to the mat. Let's get the other side. So left leg goes out of the way. Right heel comes into the groin. Then we get the left leg scooted in where we want it. Remember, we're going to turn and take a little rock toward the bent knee, just to rebalance our hips before we come back to center. Find your loop or your lasso on the long leg, and we'll get started. So if you've already taken a little bounce to the left or to the right, come back to center. Start by sitting tall, lengthen the spine, widthen the shoulders, and then you can begin to walk the hands down the strap. Now, if you find that knee hurts, the knee is bent, then kick it further out and get it out of your way. That may let you hinge deeper. So one way you're working a little deeper into the hip one direction, the other way you're working into the hip a different method. But take the hinge forward, forehead to toes, hard lifted, shoulders wide. You can do that same little traction technique on this, where you bend the knee, walk the hands down, and then straighten the knee. Just be careful that your traction, that the correct level of uncomfortable versus hurt. You don't want to hurt yourself. We make progress in milliliters. So relax that, release it, come up, reset the integrity of the spine, the integrity of the shoulders, and then as you're ready, walk it back down. We're not going to hold for long, just a breath or two. Sometimes it is nice to flow through things, and sometimes you need to give the body time to figure out what you're asking it to do. Inhale and slowly slide back up, sit up nice and tall, reset anything that needs to be reset. Strap comes behind you, reach for it with the left hand. I lost my strap on my foot, you're down. I find myself doing that, struggling to put the strap across my foot without realizing bend your knee, Tommy. That gets your foot a whole lot closer to you. But let's go back to this side body twist that we're doing here. So sitting up tall, long spine, wide shoulder, right hand is behind you as far as it'll go. And use the strap to walk that hand further than you think it will go. And then as you're ready, left hand can come to right knee, and you begin to take the twist. Now keep your head and neck in line with your sternum if that feels good. But if your neck doesn't mind, let your chin follow your shoulder and begin to look behind you as we find this little seated twist. Then soften that, release it a little bit, bend your knee, walk the hand down, one more fingerprint, and then as you straighten the knee, find just a little bit more twist in the mid-body. Stay here if it feels good. If you want, take one more of that traction before we take this slightly deeper twist. And then with control, unwind, unroll, set your strap out of your way. Right hand comes behind you, left hand comes in front. As we rock up into our stargazer pose. Lifting the heart, stretching out through that side body that we just took a deep twist. And then with control, drop the hips back to the mat. And then come up to seated lengthwise on your mat. Last little bit of core today. Set the legs out long in front of you. Now, if it's uncomfortable on the back of your knees, for your heels to be on the mat and your legs straight, then bend your knees and soften. Draw your heels in and soften. If it feels okay, send your legs out long. Feet about hip width distance apart. Hands resting down beside you. This is called Dandasana, or staff pose. And the staff here is not your legs, it's your spine. So find the length in your spine, width in your shoulders. Bring your hands out in front of you. Fingers intertwined except the pinky or the pointer fingers. Those are pointed forward. This is undulating mudra, also known as Charlie's Angels. Draw the belly button up and in. With control, begin to roll down your spine, one vertebra at a time. Take your time. Make the belly work. Let the heels slide towards you on the mat. But keep the belly engaged. Control the descent all the way to the floor. When you get down to the mat, release the mudra, release your hips, draw one knee in and then the other, and give them a little rock from side to side. Massage one and then the other. This massages your low back. a little rock from side to side. Then whatever you would like, we're headed for Shavasana. If you'd like to take a happy baby, or legs up the wall, or a different kind of twist, feel free to do that. But together, we're headed for Shavasana. Take a traditional Shavasana that calls to you. Arms wide, legs wide, sprawled on the floor. Letting the body expand and extend and take up space. Or maybe your low back prefers your heels in. Knees bent and raised. The constructed rest. Maybe you curl up on your side. Whatever feels the most restful and supportive to you today, try that. You worked hard today, you earned your Shavasana, so give it to yourself. Do take the time to soften your body. Relax your forehead. Relax your face, the big muscles across the forehead, down the jaw, soften your eyes. Soften your shoulders. Let your heart be open. Relax your belly. Relax your hips. Unclench your butt. Unclench your butt again. Let the big muscles in your thighs, in your arms, the smaller muscles in your lower arms and lower legs, your feet, your hands, your fingers, your toes, let all of those go. Be little. Breathe in through the nose and breathing out through the mouth. Breathing in, feeling the lungs expand. Breathing out, feeling a sense of letting go. Breathing in to feel the body go fuller. Breathing out to feel the release of any tension. Breathing in to feel alive and awake. Breathing out to feel relaxed. Bring your awareness back to your breath. And focus your awareness on the inhales. Now move your awareness and focus on the exhales. Now let your awareness focus on the body, on the way the heart, the lungs, the belly, the ribs move as you breathe. Notice how the ribs expand and the shoulders move, and the hips softly move. The entire body involved with the breath. Then let that awareness of body and breath spread out and along your arms and legs, all the way out at your fingers and toes. Move just your toes. Wiggle your toes. Now wiggle your fingers. Now begin to let those little wiggles be gentle stretches that involve the arms and the legs, and let the stretches get longer and deeper and juicier. Take your time integrating outer world and inner world, and in your time, make your way back up to seated. And we'll close out today's practice. Thank you so much for sharing your time, your most valuable resource, time. And thank you for sharing your time, your love, your light, your energy with me today. Thank you for hanging out, for being an inspiration. May you be at peace. May your heart remain open. May you awaken to the light of your own true nature. May you be healed, and may you be a source of healing for all other beings. Namaste. Let me wander my way over to turn off the recording. If I can walk. Sometimes after sitting on the floor for a few minutes, I don't move much like a yoga teacher. I move more like a